This time I'd like to yield 10 minutes to the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Granger.
Gentlelady is recognized for 10 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, on Sunday afternoon I drove about 20 miles to the home of Mr. and Mrs. Paul Ballant in Willow Park, Texas. I had the solemn honor of presenting them with congressional remarks commemorating the noble and distinguished service of their son, Paulie. The parents of Captain Ballant did not complain to me or ask me to vote to end the war. They talked about the pride of their son and his lifetime desire to serve in the military. The Ballants have never waffled in their belief that the war in Iraq is one that demands our nation's full commitment. They experienced a loss no one ever wants to share while he was fighting to preserve our freedom and our way of life. And as I wished them well and turned to leave, the Ballants asked me to bring a message back to Washington. They said to tell you to stay firm because we need to finish the job in Iraq. So I'm speaking today in memory of Paulie and his mother and his father and his brother and those who are still fighting there for us and listening to what we have to say. I will not speak by calling into question anyone's patriotism or motives. All of us, Republicans and Democrats alike, recognize that much is at stake in Iraq, and undoubtedly we all feel passionately about doing our duty to move forward and address what I consider to be the issue of our lives, the worldwide war against terrorists, and a battleground of that war, which is Iraq. The issue of responsibility in this war has been discussed during this debate, and I believe it's an important issue when addressing Iraq and in addressing this resolution. Certainly, in the change of direction the President has presented, the Iraqis have a clear responsibility to meet the goals of securing their own future. Likewise, Congress has a clear responsibility to produce meaningful legislation and provide effective oversight of our government's actions, especially during time of war. Put another way, our citizens hold their elected representatives accountable to craft legislation that results in meaningful and positive change. That is precisely what is so disappointingly unacceptable about this non-binding bill, which fails to do anything, which holds no one accountable, and does not move our country forward on this critical issue. Frankly, those many who have criticized the administration for staying the course too long are now presenting us with a bill that is a stay-the-course piece of legislation that both advocates failure and a position of status quo. More specifically, the bill ignores two of the most important parts of our nation's role in Iraq, the consequences of failure and the principal support that we should provide our troops during times of war. Let's say we do redeploy, which means quit. Or let's say the Congress takes the next step that's being talked about, and that's stopping the funding in Iraq. Let's look clearly at the consequences of a failed state in Iraq, not only for America, but for the world. Let there be no mistake, Iraq is but one front in a long war against a fanatical enemy who does not value human life and who seeks to destroy those who does. Failing to secure Iraq will result in massive instability in the Middle East, which will undoubtedly spill over to the rest of the world. Consider the fractured nature of the Middle East and the nature of the dangerous threat we face. Iranian television stations routinely broadcast commercials that are designed to recruit would-be terrorists. In one ad specifically for children, cartoon characters entice them to be suicide bombers. Imagine a society that views indoctrinating 10-year-olds in the joys of martyrdom as a positive action. And yet that's precisely the kind of hate-filled enemy we face in this war, where again, Iraq is just a battle. A failed Iraq would provide international terrorists fertile ground to sow the seeds of just that type of hatred and extremist thought. These terror groups are cold and brutal, and fully dedicated to our destruction.